Welcome back to For the Fans, where we are excited to talk about the finale episode of Survivor 46, where we got to see kind of some little controversial things, maybe a little bit. And I'm excited to talk with you guys about them, get your thoughts, get your opinions on the season as a whole, and talk about our new winner. So, Kevin, Sheldon, how are y'all doing tonight?
I am great. I've loved episode 5 through 13. Best season of the new era after episode 5. This has been such a fun season. However, we're going to talk a lot about this. The wrong person won.
No, man. Charlie's right. The wrong person doesn't win. Doesn't win. It's whoever the jury picks, and that's who they picked to win.
That's a bullshit thing that he says because he's gracious and nice.
No,
the wrong person won.
We're gonna talk about it all. I think there's a lot of things that are objectively true that you can say about the season. So, we'll get into all of it. We'll talk about all of the, the opinion things at the end and give our thoughts about it as a whole. But yeah, I thought it was a fine finale. It wasn't anything that just blew my socks off. But I think when you lose that chaos of Q the episode before, like, it was pretty predictable what was going to happen. Like, kind of the order that people went out isn't that surprising. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned the chaos of Q. Is that when Q's gone, you're able to really not just settle into the game. Strategy came back to the forefront. And we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about how strategy came back to the forefront because Sheldon looked confused.
What are you talking about?
So, Q's chaos at Tribal. It becomes, let's just jump into it.
All right, so let's get into it. Our first thing that we're going to highlight is a little help from my friends. And I had to watch this episode 1.5 times, I'm going to say, because unfortunately we had really bad weather in Texas last night. So I missed the final 5 immunity challenge. I got to see Liz going out to help Kenzie, and then don't get to see the result. Don't get to see the final 5 vote off, and it comes back on, and I'm getting to watch the final 4, final immunity challenge. I got to watch that in its completion. Didn't get to see the final 4 fire making, and then I got it to come back on right at final tribal council. So I watched it in bits and pieces, and then I had to go back and rewatch it today. But whenever I was thinking of things I wanted to talk about, I didn't even realize that Kenzie had said this exact thing, a little help from my friends. So winner quote here from Kenzie. Leaving last week's episode, we were thinking like, oh, there's going to be maybe some fireworks between Charlie and Maria. We're going to get to see this, like where Maria has shown her card. She voted for Charlie in the last tribal council, but it was really a anticlimactic moment.
I disagree. It wasn't that it was anticlimactic. I felt like Charlie handled it deftly and very intelligently, so that way it was able to fester on its own without being able to show that he was also thinking the same thing. Because even as this challenge ends and Maria's thinking of options, we don't see her pitching Charlie's name anymore because Charlie has done a good job of making it seem like water under the bridge. We're okay. But don't do it to me again. And she's like, okay, yeah. Let's look at Ben. Let's look at Ben maybe.
Those 3, they made me do it. I think Charlie handled it perfectly.
Yep.
Really, really well.
Well, or she actually just got scared of him and realized she can't actually do anything to vote him out because nobody else is going to go against Charlie because they're all under Charlie's spell. And to me, I think that's closer to the truth. And the only person she has any real agency with, any real deep game relationship with, is Charlie. And so she didn't actually have another choice. And I don't really understand the rationale of Ben because he was not a threat, and clearly he wasn't a threat based on what we saw in the final vote. But I just don't think that she saw Liz and Kenzie splitting up. So it was Okay, I guess we're going for Ben.
I disagree. I think it was pretty obvious because, like, in the challenge itself, as we see a little help from our friends, the crazy thing is that the challenge, Maria is the person to beat. Charlie's neck and neck with her. They get to the puzzle. Maria zooms ahead just like last time, but Kinsey comes out of nowhere and is blasting through this puzzle. Then the puzzle she thinks she finishes, it now has a phrase on it that she needs to count the geckos and the holes in the plank. And this is where that little help from her friends comes through. We see Liz who looks and says, I'm out this bitch. Let me see what's going on over here. Oh, it says Callow from the plank back there. And Kitty's like, what plank? And then Liz says, and it goes and grabs Kenzie's plank, pulls that bitch all the way upstairs for her, and it says this plank. And she's like, oh, my plank. She's like, yeah, let's count. I'm gonna count the holes over here. You finish counting them geckos. Here's the answer. Put it in, see what happens. Because Maria can beat both of us in the final. Let's get Maria yeeted out of here so that way we can get this done. And I bring all that up because if you're Maria and you're pitching, how am I going to pitch Liz to you, Kinsey, when she just helped you beat me? That's not an option.
Yeah, Liz wasn't going to be the option. I mean, I think Ben is probably the best one, but then
It's the
everybody's
only one.
also looking at Ben like, I want to sit next to Ben because I can beat him. Like, you know, there was no good option, and I think Maria knew that.
Yep.
Maybe her best bet, because, you know, like this is something that I have tried in this exact scenario of like being at this point in an online game, is to get them, if I can just get maybe one person to vote differently and, you know, another person to vote with me, then it could be like a 2-2-1 or something like that. You know, just any little bit of chaos where you can maybe just convince one person to throw a vote in a different direction. So like, I am all for Maria trying everything that she can. But before we get into like the actual vote, what do y'all think about this move by Liz going and helping Kinsey? Because personally speaking, I hate this.
Of course you did. I knew you. I already knew, like, going into us talking today, I was sitting there, I was like, Kylie's going to hate this.
I love it. Why not? There's no reason. Like,
there is a reason, and it's called precedent, because this has happened before. South Pacific, when Sophie was yelling at Albert to pick up her damn cards so that she could beat Ozzy in an immunity challenge, and Jeff was like, no, we can't do this. So yeah, I have a big problem with it, especially when Maria is literally right there. Maria had a spot in the final three taken from her hands, and if I'm Maria, I'm going to be pissed as fuck. And maybe that is what sets Maria off a little bit for the rest of the events of the season. Because if I'm her, I'm mad.
Kylie, this is the new era.
New era.
And this is
I don't care. I don't like that.
This is a television program. And from a strategic, so look, I actually, to some extent, agree with you, but it is in
Vincey McFinsterton.
I agree with the idea that, hey, if the rule is you should.
The rule was.
Which is why I completely think this is the right move. If they are actually allowed to help each other, and Liz clearly knows she's not going to win this, and the goal that they all have and the perception that they all have is Maria is the winner and we have to get rid of her for any of us to have a chance, this is without a doubt strategically the only move. And in fact, I commend and I love Liz, and I think that this would have been a big piece of her final speech to say, look, I knew I couldn't beat you. And this would have been a piece in her speech to say, hell, I didn't care about winning. I helped her just to get rid of you. Give me your vote.
Okay, so let me ask this before you weigh in, Kevin, and you can answer this in your rebuttal too. So at what point, like, how much are we going to allow? So would it have been okay if they would have like kept Maria from coming out of her net and like stood there and blocked her?
No.
I mean, would it have been okay if they took her puzzle pieces and pitched them off the side of the ledge?
No.
So, like, at what point in time?
I'll tell you the point.
Okay, this is okay to help someone and to hinder someone else, and this is going too far.
At this point, that it's okay to help someone, not hinder someone else. Because by chucking Maria's stuff, you're affecting Maria's things and you're stopping her. If she goes and chucks Kenzie's board, then it's like, hey, that's not allowed. But her to bring the board to Kenzie, she's helping. That's how I see it. If they were to interfere, like as Don says, they weren't interfering with her at all.
Okay,
If
so
they were
here's my thing.
interfering,
If it was like Maria on Kenzie violence or Kenzie on Maria violence, I would be okay with it a little bit. Kind of like if you're playing knockout and you know,
what?
yeet someone's basketball to the side. Like I would have been fine. Kenzie takes Maria's board and throws it back to the start of the line. Great. But I have a problem with another person physically stopping their puzzle and helping another one.
So if Kenzie goes and physically affects Maria doing it, you're good with that.
Sure.
But passive helping, you're against.
I guess what I don't actually understand
like,
is why
didn't do it herself. So
could you explain to me why
like
Maria
to me,
went down?
this knocks down Kenzie a little bit because question mark, what would have happened if Liz hadn't helped Kenzie in this? Would Kenzie have gone out at 5 or would Charlie?
I don't know. Probably.
Don in the chat says she would have a problem with the way you're okay with it, Kiley. I am with
here's the part of this from Maria's point of view that I don't understand. Why did she go get her plank? Why didn't she wait for Liz to come up and go count?
Because you don't know that the plank's the same number.
Yeah.
But they all have to be the same number for it to be completely and totally fair.
No.
Yes. Because part of the game was pulling rope in and out of plank. So in order to be completely fair, you have to have the exact same
theory,
number.
I think you are probably correct, but you can't be sure in that moment.
And as you saw, it's not like Liz went and grabbed her own plank. She went and grabbed Kenzie's plank and brought Kenzie's plank up.
Well, which doesn't make sense to me either, but that's a whole other thing.
So this is my thing. I'm okay with the help. The precedent was before that you couldn't help, but Albert and Sophie had a specific case. In this specific case, she didn't like help her with the pieces on the puzzle. Like she didn't put puzzle pieces in with her. She wouldn't grab the plank and then count the pieces. It's still she didn't physically put in the number combination.
Kevin, she 100% won the immunity challenge for Kenzie. Kenzie would have lost the immunity challenge.
She 100% helped.
Undoubtedly.
100% helped. No,
so
I'm not help. I'm not saying
whether or not she put pieces physically into the puzzle or not, that doesn't matter to me. She won the challenge for Kenzie.
I understand it doesn't matter for you.
So we're not going to agree on this. I'm with Kevin here. But was it the right move? Did they do the right thing to get rid of Maria? Or did it really actually not matter from Mackenzie's point of view?
So, like, for instance, when Sophie and Albert was doing it, she wanted Albert to pick up the pieces and help her, right?
Yeah.
In this situation,
this is rhetorical.
she didn't go pick up the pieces. As Don says, it's all in the details. So she didn't go pick up the puzzle pieces and put them in there. That's why that's important.
She picked up the board. I mean, it's no different. Like you're arguing.
It is different. It is different.
It's not different. You can say, hey, this is the new era, and now you can do that. I will give you that point. But the semantics.
But like, so it's for instance, though, if someone's like, the reason you can't just say it's the new era, because like if someone's on, let's say the pole, like one of those poles, right? You can't go and stand under them and let them put their feet on your shoulders while you're out, right? You can't do that.
Why not?
Because that's the actual part of the that's why the details matter.
Well, and the details matter particularly because, as our roving reporter Dawn says, that particular challenge was a little different. It was an actual balanced challenge, and Jeff was specific that time. So I assume we always get the truncated version of the instructions when we watch the TV show. But in truth, they probably tell them, you can't do this, you cannot do that. You can't.
They don't probably tell them. They tell them. And if there's a ruling that's against their rules, they will stop them and make them restart, reset, what have you. In this situation, grabbing the board was not against the rules.
I didn't say it was against the rules. It was
She just
against.
doesn't like it. It's cheating. We like pure conservative values.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. It's against the precedent that they have done before. I don't like it. If I was Maria, I would be. I mean, Maria showed grace in that situation
I'm sure
because
she did.
I'd have been mad as hell.
I'm sure
Ready
she
to
did.
burn that motherfucker down. That's how mad
I'm sure. I'm sure. After it was done, she was like, "Is that fair? Is that legal?" They then discussed and then had a ruling that it was because of whatever XYZ rule, and that's it. Because, like you said, if I'm Maria, I would also be like, "Wait a second here." But then when you read me the rule that you're like, "Hey, this is why this is fair," you got to go with it. You have no choice. It's their game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing that at all.
This
I'm
isn't the
arguing
challenge
I
here, Kylie.
really dislike this so much.
This isn't
I
the
hate
challenge.
Maria. Like, I hate that this is what takes her out of the game. That sucks.
I mean, this sure. It's not like they were gunning for her. They were
No,
gunning for her
this
very obviously.
Kylie,
this
is
takes
a
her out
social,
of the game. She
but
would
this is
have
also
one
a social
immunity.
game. Like,
Yeah,
this is also a social game. And
correct.
like,
Sure, and I think this speaks to Kenzie's game because my gosh, like this girl was willing to, help me win immunity just to get Maria out. It's a big plus in Kenzie's favor and a big minus in Maria's favor. But looking at the layout of the game, Maria would have won immunity. Maria presumably would have either been able to win the final immunity challenge or make fire based on the things that they say. Obviously, you get in there and you start making fire. Who knows what happens? But
I'm pretty sure.
they set up and told you, like, it seems like if Maria wins this immunity challenge, she's almost a lock for final 3.
I'm pretty sure Maria wins. It's still not guaranteed because Kenzie was still further ahead in finishing the puzzle, and it was Liz that figured that part out. And I don't know that Maria thinks to go back for her plank if Liz doesn't go down to go for Kenzie's plank. So
once they get to that point, Maria is going to outrun Kenzie.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I don't know how much of a head start she would have got. Like those kind of things. I'm not positive. But
I was also extremely impressed by how fast Liz started to run after not eating for days. She was Donovan Bailey at the Olympics when Canada won. It was amazing.
That's a deep Canadian reference that none of us Americans understand.
It's okay. I had to put it in there anyways.
So afterwards, though, I thought this was going to be an interesting food choice. Liz just helped you win. I thought for sure Kenzie would pick Liz, but Liz is like, I'm allergic to pasta. Another thing I'm allergic to. Run it with Ben. Send Ben out there. And Ben's like, on my way, I'm going to eat this pasta. And it was just another time that Kenzie was able to try to solidify a friendship.
Yeah, I mean, Kenzie's social game is literally probably flawless. Like someone in the jury even said, nobody disliked Kenzie.
Correct.
And, I think that she played a flawless social game.
I don't know, flawless.
Except the only person who was really wanting to get rid of her was the mermaid dragon man himself. And he was right.
Banu clocked it.
He was right.
Dragon. It's fantastic to get the help from your friends, and then you get the ultimate help from your friends in the end, as we know, to get the W.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So anything else to say about this Final 5 immunity challenge and vote?
I just want to go back to a question I asked that Kevin decided to ignore. And that was, if Maria would have gone to the finals, and let's say Maria was replaced with Charlie, would Maria have won?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if she wins or not.
I think she wins because she was a threat long enough, and they weren't able to get rid of her. Not by anything more than that.
The difference between Maria's and Kenzie and Charlie's game is that Maria was the out front person, and Charlie was so under the radar. But I think that Maria has rubbed enough people the wrong way on the jury that I don't think it's a lock that she beats Kenzie.
Yeah.
But I think it was, if she wins Final 5 immunity, it's a lock that she gets there. And at least gets to argue her case. So It is what it is. It is Survivor history. And now from 48 onward, they're going to know that we can do this. And if it happens again, I'm going to hate it even fucking more.
But that's the thing, though. As me and Sheldon and Don have been staying here the whole time, there are specific times, Kylie. So when you get mad that someone's balancing on a beam and then someone goes to hold their feet up or something, and you're like, they let them do it in 46. They did not let them do that in 46.
Okay. I really completely disagree. So don't know what to say. I don't like it. I think that you need to complete the immunity challenges on your own. I don't think helping someone in any type of way is good enough.
But it's a social game. Like that is actually the way you infuse social game into these stupid competitions.
Okay, that's fine. That's a part of the game, though, is winning immunity. And I don't like that. I don't like that they allowed someone to win an immunity challenge for somebody else. I don't like it.
She didn't win it for someone else. She got the puzzle done first, and then she wouldn't help.
Kevin, you even said it earlier. She undoubtedly won the competition for Kinsey. No doubt.
No, you said that.
No, you did too. We'll rewind the tapes at the end.
Rewind the tapes.
We'll rewind it at the end. No doubt. Okay, moving forward.
Tone Montana says in fast season you can assist verbally, not physically. Now you can't assist physically in some things, like going to get the plank so she can count them up. That's it.
No, not that's it. I don't like it.
You don't like it. I don't like a lot of things. I move on.
Moving on. All right. Delusional. All right. So Maria has exited the game. We are at our final four with Liz, Ben, Kinsey, and Charlie. And we get these confessionals from Liz where she's like, I have done such an excellent job in this game that everyone knows without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched this, I missed all of this last night, okay? Didn't see any of these confessionals. And so when I'm watching this today, I'm like, what? WTF?
So I watched a little, Rob has a podcast today, and I watched Liz's exit video. And let's add a little spice to this. She's not a millionaire. She lied about being a millionaire. She wanted herself to have this big thing on her back that made people feel like, yeah, she won't win anyways. We'll get her. We'll deal with her later. So I do not understand this at all. I don't get it. And it makes no sense because she did not have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, I don't think that is the reveal at the end that people are like, oh,
you're not a millionaire.
You bamboozled us. I want to reward this. Like, this is such an odd flex. I don't get it. But I will say, as a character on a TV show, 10 out of 10. Liz was great casting. I did not understand it probably until the Applebee's episode, but since the Applebee's episode, Liz has given everything that you could want from a person.
I will say, not relating to this delusional, but we've had some really interesting casting this season. Liz, Q, Jem was fun, Kenzie was great, Tiffany, Venus, like even Hunter was boring, but something fun about him.
Maybe. All right. He's really good at that.
So Liz was a blast the entire time. My favorite is when Liz loses fire and she's like, I would have beaten you guys. And they're like,
every single one of you.
One of you.
Venus is sitting there in the jury like, what? Who?
Then when she's in the jury, she once again says,
before they even get to the fire, though, Liz is like, I've got these extra ligaments in my wrist. I'm like, girl, you ain't alone. Everybody can make a joint pop like that.
Nah. I think not everybody can, man. Like, this is not. Can you too? No, everyone can. So listen, she's not alone, Kylie, but that's still not like an every person thing.
And I have to say, I'm just like Dawn, where when she left, and I don't know who it was who said, I love you. And her retort was, I'll love you tomorrow. I
Yeah.
loved it. It was so great.
Like Tracy said, Liz was one of my faves this season. And from the moment I became a Liz fan, when she was mad at Tevin for the soda vote, when she was like,
Yeah,
that
you
was
know what?
mine.
Honestly, she did start with that. That is
Wait a
when
minute.
Liz really started
That
emerging
was
and
my move.
just kind of crazy.
And
But and you know, it's one of the, I think we talked about it last episode of, are we getting a little bit less of the game perspective from Liz and Ben, because they also are more social players, and Kenzie is going to end up being the winner, and that does prove correct. But I would love to have known, and I really wanted Jeff to ask, like, if Liz had made it, who would have voted for her? I mean, was she completely delusional, or was she right? What would she, with Maria out of the game, if if Liz sits with any of the other three, does she win?
the only way Liz could have possibly won is if she sat with Ben and Venus.
But I mean, that is from our perspective because we're watching the edited version. Is there a world where Liz could have gotten the votes against Kenzie or Charlie?
No.
I honestly
don't think so either, but I would have loved to have gotten the jury's opinion.
But you see, I don't believe it either. And that's to me where I really don't like this after show right after the final tribal council.
Yeah.
Because they do not.
Hold on. Let's not.
No, I want to make this point.
I have a lot to say about the after show.
We'll talk about it, but I just want to make this point because the show is actually not written, it's not done, it's not edited, it's not put together. Jeff can't actually ask the questions that are relevant to what we just saw the last 13 episodes.
And I mean,
it's such a shame.
And to speak on that right here, Tracy says she was delusional. No one was going to vote for a millionaire. If you ask that question post game, Kiley, you don't have Liz's big bombs to show. So if you raise your hand, no one's going to raise their hand because from the aspect that they saw, like the things she wants to take credit for, the soda vote, Tevin vehemently believes that was his move, irregardless of whatever she has to say in that moment. If you talk about anything she did with getting Q out, she finally got Q out. She's like, I've been saying Q forever. There's no one that's going to give her credit for those things in that moment in the after show because they would have already had taken credit. So I'm glad Jeff didn't ask anyone to raise their hand because it would have been really embarrassing. And
it would have been, but I would have liked to have known. I would have liked to know if she could have caught any votes because I don't know. I mean, from my perspective, she's maybe one step above Ben in relevancy of the season. So
maybe.
I don't think she catches any votes if she's sitting with Charlie or Kenzie.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
if there had been a world where Charlie or Kenzie sat with Liz and Ben, they win unanimously.
Well, I think they win pretty much unanimously. I think there's always going to be, for the most part, one extra vote just so we can differentiate who is second place. But yes, otherwise.
Maybe.
Yes.
I mean, there's been unanimous votes in the past, so.
Has there been one since Sail One Sir?
I don't know.
The reason I ask because I feel like I remember in Sail One Sir that's Reed casted a vote to make sure Missy came in second or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Natalie would have won unanimously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't keep up with vote counts. But anyways.
Yeah. So Liz was a blast. I enjoyed her all season. Tracy said did Liz win a challenge? I do not believe so.
No. No. She did when she was on NAMI.
Yeah, and that was a lot of Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter won challenges.
But
what a fun character. I mean, such an oddball casting decision, but it was great. It worked out.
Don, the shade right here. Liz eats at Applebee's. Of course, she's not a millionaire. That is cold. It's maybe true.
Yeah,
but
look,
it's cold-blooded.
I mean, Applebee's is just not good. Let's be real. if I am a millionaire and I have to have like my, fast casual restaurant that I'm never going to give up, it's definitely Chili's because Chili's is far superior to Applebee's.
I mean, I enjoy me some Applebee's more than Chili's personally.
And
Oh,
the
wow.
last
I don't know anybody
unanimous.
who likes Applebee's besides two people on a television show.
The reason I like Applebee's is because it's usually has been in the last 15 years near my wherever I'm working. So it's been a fine establishment to eat for a lunch,
Well,
quick lunch
Chili's
break.
has the triple dipper and it slaps. Okay, so
I don't know what you're talking about. What I do
You
know
guys have
is-
Chili's?
No, but I
Wait,
think
what?
We had a Chili's up here and then they closed down. But more importantly, the last unanimous vote was Survivor 33 Millennial versus Gen X. Adam Klein 10-0 over Ken and Hannah.
That's the last one?
Last one, Survivor 33, 13 seasons ago.
San Juan del Sur, I think it was 27, so I got you.
San Juan del Sur was 5-1. Natalie got 5, Jacqueline 2, Missy 1.
They wanted to make sure that
But the other
That's
one
the most
was
nice.
Cambodia, where Jeremy Collins got the 10-0.
yeah, I thought that was the last one, but I wasn't sure. All right.
We're
Don
at-
likes the boneless wings though at Applebee's.
I love chicken fingers too. I love them.
Chicken
All right.
wonton tacos. Let's go.
Bitter is better.
Okay, so listen, I just want to talk about this because Final Tribal was fine. I think it's interesting because I have gone on record multiple times that says people don't change their mind at Final Tribal Council. We watched as a couple people changed their mind, but for the most
Apparently
part,
like 5 or 6, like half of them.
apparently. But for the most part, most people were pretty locked in. My favorite was when Tevin comes back and sits down and he says, "I'm between two people," and Tiffany said, "You ain't decided yet." Like I've been to I came in here knowing what I was doing.
Tiffany busy.
I've been new, and so as these people are answering the questions, you're watching as they give good answers. I feel like you can't. I do feel like you can't really win. I still believe this even after watching last night. Final Tribal Council does two things that either when I played online games, I'm looking for new information at Final Tribal. If there's no new information, I have made up my mind about what I'm going to do going into this thing, unless I hear something that's new. When Marianne pulls out that idol against Mike, that was new information. When I was in an online game and Sheldon pretended like he was a bad guy all along, that was new information, right? When there's new information, it changes how things can go for the good or for some people, sometimes the worst. So when we had this
Are you
final
trying to
tribal,
say I would have gotten your vote?
no, I have my mind made up. But when you have these when you're watching it happen, new information, if you don't get any, you gotta have your mind made up already going in.
Yeah.
I say that because when the votes come out, as it shakes out,
Well,
Maria.
let's talk about the
Okay.
final tribal before we get into the votes. So, I mean, I felt like this. I feel like a lot of the Survivor community was like in agreement. This is going to be a 4-4 split, and Ben is going to have to cast the deciding vote. He's going to cast it for Kenzie because she helped him with his night terrors. I feel like so many people were in agreement, like this is what's going to happen. But I felt like they both had really strong tribal councils. Like listening to their answers, I was like, I can see this going either way. There were some things that Charlie said that I was like, yep. And for me personally, like what I would want from a winner is I want someone that has agency, and I would have leaned towards Charlie's game because I felt like Charlie is the one that had more agency in determining the direction of the game. And whenever he had this answer of, I always made sure that I had different pathways. I was like, that's it. That would have done it for me.
So
Charlie would have gotten my vote.
do you actually believe they had strong tribal councils? And I say that because
I think they did.
the reason I say that is because I felt like all three of them confirmed all the information that they already had about them. And it's not, I asked this question not
I
to.
think from what you're saying of like, hey, we brought this new information. I don't think there was anything
Yeah,
that's like,
and that's what. Hold on,
explosive.
that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. I'm not saying that they had bad ones. I'm not saying that at all. At all. I think it was everything went as expected. I thought they would be good speakers. They were good speakers. They
Yeah,
confirmed a lot of the things that people had already perceived of them. So this question was me every time I've been on an online game or I ever watched this game. This is what I think of you. Tell me if I'm wrong.
yeah,
And then they're like, nope, you're right on all of us. It's like, okay, cool. Then
yeah.
I'm going to make the decision. The decision I came in with, I'm pretty much going to go with because you guys have confirmed what I was already thinking about you based on all the information I've collected in both
Yeah.
these questions with
Yeah,
the
I
people that
don't
talked
think
with you.
any of the three of them had anything that was explosive, but I felt like Charlie and Kinsey both put together their games very solidly
They were able, definitely
in
able to
their
explain them. Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to push back on that because although I think that they represented themselves well, I think that Kenzie represented herself and her game far better than Charlie did. Charlie's a lawyer or studying to be a lawyer. I expected Charlie to come out and give us the Kevin Jacobs, this is what I did. You saw a freaking Excel grid spreadsheet on the beach. Where was my Excel spreadsheet
So
when he was selling his
I will tell you exactly where it was. Charlie said that
I did this. I was
So hold on, Sheldon.
part of
And
that.
Sheldon, Charlie said in his exit press, and this makes a ton of sense. They asked him. I forgot where I read it. Maybe TV Line, maybe EW. But someone asked him, "Do you think you would change anything?" So based on the result, I would. But the thing I would change is maybe be more forceful. I was doing my best to make sure I didn't come off as arrogant or combative with
Yeah.
anyone.
So I think that's really interesting because kind of what we have seen in the last few seasons is somebody steps forward as the leader, like they have the big move, they've got the big resume, they immediately get axed. And I was all season long, I've been like, Charlie's doing such a great job managing his threat level. He managed his threat level too well, and he hit it even through tribal council because he didn't have that moment, like you're saying, Sheldon, where he was like, from this vote forward, I, was in control. The person that I wanted went home, and I always made sure that if, something different happened, like, Maria, I wanted to take you out at the final 7 or 6, whatever it was, but you won back-to-back immunities, but I was already insulated. When he made that comment of like, when you pulled back to take the punch, I already had myself insulated so that you couldn't do it. And I was like, damn, that was such a good point. And that's probably what he should have hammered home more. And, maybe taking swipes at Kinsey's game. I don't know.
Well,
maybe that's something that jury could have appreciated.
The only, that's my argument. And I think we should have seen a little bit more force from Charlie. That being said, we saw the same Charlie we saw the entire game. Extremely even-keeled, extremely likable, nice guy, but not willing to just like give that extra what Maria gave her entire game. And to me, I think that's part of a little bit of the difference. And I think you're right. Maybe he did have too small of a target, but I think that, so one of the things I heard today on Rob Has a Podcast from Maria was the reason she flipped her vote.
Don't even play with me. Don't even play with me here.
Was because of the look in
the fire in Kenzie's eye when she did the fire.
Right, and I thought that was bullshit when she said it on the reunion show, but
it's still bullshit.
But she said it on RHAP, and the way she said it was...
She said it on RHAP, she said it in EW, she said it in TV Line, she said it in Parade. She's had the same line the entire time.
But her rationale there, the explanation, the context there was she saw herself in the eyes of Kenzie. And maybe there is some truth in that, but yeah, it is a little bit bitter of my little brother got one up on me and I didn't get one up on him. Correct. And I really, she was gracious verbally, visually, but she ended up not being very gracious, I think.
It's the whole thing, okay, because let's get into this thing, man. The votes shake out, and it is a 5-3 finishing vote. If it was 4-4, like expected, Ben would have voted, and Ben has said on the On Fire podcast, he told Charlie apparently directly after the game, he said in multiple places, he would have voted for Charlie to win the game because of the way Charlie played the game. The three of us and most people that talked in the internet survivor community, we all forgot about Charlie saving Ben's life in the first vote over there. So I completely forgot about that. So they state that though they didn't show us how close they were, I did love that the editing continued to show Kinsey with Ben to help explain how Kinsey wins this game because of her social game. So that's great. But Ben was always locked in with Charlie as his number one, and we just forgot. We
saw Charlie wearing Ben's vest in episode 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here's my thing is, okay, I have a lot of thoughts. I think Kinsey.
Hold on, I want to hear all your thoughts, but let me finish what I was saying. And the vote goes the way it does. So I think for myself, when it comes out that Maria actively stole this money from Charlie, because that's what happened. Maria also in her exit press has said it was 5 votes for Kinsey. Yeah, honey, that's fine, but yours was the one he was counting on. He ain't mad about Tiffany's vote. Why the fuck would he be mad about Tiffany voting for Kinsey? That's expected. Q, that's expected. He had a personal relationship with you. You are the one he had that close relationship with. So for you to then decide that, as Sheldon just said, I saw myself in Kinsey. And Kinsey's answer about being a little selfish, I saw that in me too. That's bullshit. That's all bullshit. Right here in our comments, we had that she was bitter. Tracy said that she feels like Maria was bitter towards Charlie. I don't think she was bitter. I think she was jealous. I think she was jealous that they played the same game together and that she thought her game would be winning, and she was mad that Charlie would win with her game as she felt. That's what I feel. Go ahead, Kelly.
So I think there's lots of, at the beginning I said, I think there's lots of things that are objectively true. So I think that whatever Maria's reason is for voting for Kinsey to win, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if somebody is bitter and because they're bitter, they vote opposite of the way that you think that they would have voted. Like, that is completely valid with however you feel coming out of a game for $1 million. So like, I don't care whatever her reason is, and she can say whatever she wants. Probably she's gaslighting herself a little bit because she is trying to, make nice with people. And, I think and I sent Maria a message on Twitter, like, I'm not a weirdo that just messages everybody, but I feel like this is a woman that's been getting shit on for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't think that she deserves all of this hate. Like, she made a decision, whatever. I think that Maria's biggest problem is that she doesn't own her decisions. She didn't own the decision about taking Q to eat pizza. She didn't own the decision about voting Kinsey. Like, she could have just, maybe some of it boils down to a little bit of like, hey, I resonated with what Kinsey says. Like, I support women. My business is that I help women. I am a parent coach. Like, that, her answer really resonated with me as a person. And yes, there might also be this little bit of jealousy that, Charlie is able to get to the end and I couldn't, and I just want to go a different direction. Like, whatever her reason is, she's valid for it. And so that's where I agree with what Charlie says. Like, Kinsey is the winner. Kinsey deserved to win. I think Charlie also deserved to win too in a different scenario. But
I'm with you.
That's the nuance of Survivor, is you vote these people out and they vote for whatever their criteria is. Like, I also don't like Q's reasoning for voting for Kinsey of like, I think
Q's saying, I only answered on my answer.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you did?
But that's how Q wanted to vote, so that's fine. And like, Q is an oddball too, but so whatever. And so, I don't think that Maria is necessarily wrong for how she feels. And maybe she's a little bitter, maybe she's a little jealous, but like, you do you, boo.
No, so I do want to say this to that last point you said. Maria not being wrong for what she did. I disagree, but I agree.
And I disagree with your statement. There were 5 votes for Kenzie. And yes, it is not, that's like saying, the person that misses a free throw in the final 10 seconds lost the game. No, there was lots of missed baskets before then. So Maria did not lose $1 million for Charlie.
So with I'm disagreeing with,
and I also want to say that Charlie has every right to be really, really fucking pissed at Maria.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to say, because you said it is not wrong. You're 100% that Maria can do whatever she wants. She's an individual in the game. At the same time, it was wrong. It was cold blooded for Charlie.
Yeah, I'm invalidating everybody's feelings.
And I mean, because you're right.
Maria can be jealous. She can vote however she wants. Q can vote how she wants.
Do we have any data on their relationship right now?
Yes, we do.
He is not putting forth the effort.
He said in TV Line, he said that I don't need friends like that in my life. Maria said it's up to him if he wants to get through this. He said that I have friends that are better friends to me, and that is a fact. So that's what comes like, yeah, there's 4 other people that voted, but like they weren't the friend that I'm talking about here. If I'm in a game with Sheldon at this point in our lives, and Sheldon has trusted me implicitly throughout, and then in the end, not a time to like one of us could win. Only at this point, only one of us can win. I'm already eliminated from an option of winning at this point. Sheldon has my undying loyalty.
But Kevin, there is a little difference here. They did both try to go at each other. Right?
No. I said while both in the game, I'm with that. But the moment that
I'm never going for you.
But like now, at the moment I no longer have the option
I am curious too. So, we don't see in the game if Maria was ever told Charlie is coming for you. And so I am also interested.
She confirmed she had no idea.
Okay, so did she know going into Final Tribal that Charlie was ever going to come for her?
I don't know.
No, she said that she said in the Rob at the podcast interview that she found out after the game.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, if, she was gaslighted by Charlie in the game of like, hey, I wouldn't have done that to you. And, she's like kind of does a 180 where she had tried to vote him out. And now she's obviously at the final 5. She's, not trying to target Charlie. And then she finds out, hey, Charlie was going after you too. Like, that gives her a little bit of reasoning also. But if that's not the case, that's not the case.
Well, I think one thing we are sort of not giving a lot of credit to is Kenzie. Because you're right. She did get 4 other votes outside of just Maria. And I don't actually truly fully understand how she won. Because for me, clearly, Charlie had full control of the game. I think was there one vote that didn't go his way in post-merge or pre? Like, I don't think there was. Like it was his decision, yes, along with Maria, who goes home. And it seemed to me that there was a little bit of, well, Kenzie made me feel good. Kenzie worked really hard. Kenzie's been working since she was 15 years old. And this is a young guy. Maybe he duped me, but he's going to be a lawyer, so he'll make money. So don't worry about him winning the game. Like, I do partially wonder how much of those votes had nothing to do with the game and had to do with what Kenzie has accomplished in her life versus what Charlie will have the opportunity because of his profession to accomplish.
Right. And I mean, personally, if I were in the game, I would want it to be based on only the game things. But that is also just part of Survivor. And I mean, Q wanted to know.
That's your prerogative. Yeah, that's your prerogative.
He wanted to know, what are you going to do with the money? And it's not that Charlie's answer wasn't good, because I mean, probably if you're just purely voting on that answer, then Q would have voted for Ben, because Ben needs this money. Like, Ben's a broke musician. He like said that he lives off Taco Bell like 3 times a day. And you know what I mean? Like, if you're voting solely for that, which Q wasn't, because he didn't vote for Ben, he voted for Kenzie. And so, there is a game aspect that goes into it too. That may have been between those two. I want to know this, but
maybe the Ben part when he said he would donate to his friend's charity. Maybe that's when Q was out.
Yeah. So, I would love for it to stay only game stuff, but that is not reality either.
So when how did you two react when Maria when Jeff asked how the votes who voted for who changed their mind, when you guys saw that Maria did not vote for Charlie, how did you react?
I was surprised on two votes. Maria's vote was one of the votes. The other vote was that Liz didn't vote for Kenzie. Liz voted for Charlie. The Maria was certainly far more shocking to me because I thought that when you say you're my Uncle Charlie to my kids, that is a different level of deceit and a different level of backstabbing. I don't know how you could do that.
Correct.
Yeah, I feel that. And I mean, I was shocked when Maria didn't raise her hand. And then, like, icing on the cake, cherry on top, was that when Jeff says, how many of y'all changed your votes? Maria did not raise her hand in that moment either. Maria came in already decided.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like bullshit, right? Because she came in already decided based on what her doing fire. That's another thing I want to talk about, man. Like, we got to figure out this Final Four fire making thing because there's no way. It does. It's part of the old era. I didn't like it when it happened to Chrissy Hoffbeck.
It's not going anywhere.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what's crazy about it because, like, for whatever reason, whatever you did in the game doesn't matter. All that matters is if you did fire or not. The only person that didn't like have that was Tommy, I guess. But like Kenzie, either it's real and that matters, or Maria's full of shit and it doesn't matter.
I mean, I don't think that there's other people that Jam won. He didn't make fire.
Yeah.
But by the way, I don't think
that is a criteria for winning. But
I don't think Charlie was wrong, by the way, for not volunteering himself to go to do fire.
He was or was not?
No, he was not wrong at all. Right. Like, you sit back, go back, and defend your game. And one of the things that became very clear to me in listening to Charlie today is that he said that he didn't. That the jury afterwards told him that he won the strategy game compared to Kenzie. It was the social stuff that got him, which also, like, he played a great social game too. I don't get it. Maybe his problem was that Ben was at the end and not in the jury to vote for him. I don't know. I found it also confusing. I do have a solution for fire making.
What's it?
Get rid of it. And there's two challenges. One challenge is you actually get to go. One challenge is you get to go to the finals, and then the other three people actually go in for a vote and vote one person off.
They already do that, Sheldon. It's called Final HOH of Big Brother.
Okay, that's exactly I love it. I love it.
That's what they do in the Final HOH of Big Brother.
Let's get some Big
Brother before. I mean, well, in Jeff's opinion, it was broke, and so he put something in place. But now he's just broken the game further along. Like, now it gets broken at 5
a different way, yeah,
instead of at 4 and 3. So whatever.
The thing that, I mean, well, let's be Kylie. Let's take what you just said and extrapolate it. It used to be 2, and then it was broken, so we added the third person, and then that was broken, so they had the fire making, so now it's broken. And
I'm not opposed to the 3. What I would prefer is a variance actually between 2 and 3, so that they don't actually know where they're going.
Too. Like, if they really wanted to make it unpredictable, then sometimes it could be a final 2, sometimes it could be a final 3, sometimes we have final 4 fire making. It's the
I don't
rut.
I disagree. I disagree after, and this is being 100% results oriented, right? Because Suri wins Micronesia if it's a final 3 like expected. It was a final 2, and then Amanda and Parv are like, "Come on, fam! Like, come on, that is what it is." But all in all, when I saw her not raise her hand, I immediately, I personally, when I don't get mad often. You guys have known me for a while. I don't actually get angry most of the time. Most things don't bother me. When she doesn't raise her hand, I started to get very mad at my house. And when I get mad, like, I start to shake a little bit, and my hands get like tight. And that's what was happening because I was mad
You shake
for
like
him.
this.
Not shaking like it just starts shaking like this, and then like usually if I'm mad, like there's some tears that start to well up because I'm just like my body doesn't know how to like deal with the emotion because I don't normally have it, and so I was like getting so mad because I trusted you so much, and I know I am watching Charlie and I can just imagine how he feels because when they said who voted for you, I don't know if you guys you noticed Kelly because you watched it 1.5 times. He looks to his right
Yeah, no,
first
he looks
at
and he sees
Maria.
Maria not raise her hand.
Correct, and that's where he looks first because that's where the expectation is. And so when that didn't happen, and then Jeff, I'm glad you pulled up the after show awkwardness because Jeff asked the question here and then says, Charlie, you just lost the game and you found out your closest ally betrayed you. And a close vote
How does
because
it
you would have
feel?
won.
Well,
You would
Jeff,
have won.
it
if
feels
someone else-
really shitty. I
Because
mean, what a person Charlie is. Honestly, like these three, this final three is probably the nicest final three maybe they've ever had. Okay. Like all three seem like genuinely really, really nice people. And the composure that Charlie has in this moment, because he is young, I
fine.
wouldn't have had that composure. Like I would not have been able to speak.
I would
And
have
you know,
said,
Charlie does take that moment, and I mean, there are
have to. You
actual
have to.
crickets.
Because
Because
you have to collect. He had to collect himself because I would have said, I would have turned around and I would have said,
You didn't vote for me?
yeah, I would have said, you didn't vote for me? And she would have said, no. And I said, did you not think you should have won this game? And she would have
yeah, I
said,
mean,
yeah,
I would have been,
we played the same game.
and I would have been, I would have either been really, really heated at Maria, and like I said, I don't necessarily have a problem with what Maria did, but I also don't have a problem with however Charlie feels about it.
But you're also not Charlie, right? I'm
Yeah,
not
but
Charlie.
I also think Charlie is valid in however he feels.
No, Charlie had at that moment. Charlie had big feelings.
And if
about
I'm Charlie, I would be livid. Okay, but I would have either like exploded like Liz on cue, or I would have been unable to speak.
So
Sheldon, before you say what you would have done, Dawn said that she would have been nothing but bleeps in her answer, and Tracy said she would have given her the finger.
So, yeah, rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
Right. However, it was a fantastic television moment. Watching Charlie's face, watching what his eyes were
I was hoping he
saying.
was gonna throw his drink. Okay,
Right.
I wanted
Like,
him to be
It
drunk.
was a fantastic television moment, but it wasn't a fair television moment because I have been really against this after show after the show because I think it's not unfair for the jury. I think it's unfair for the three who just lost $1 million or won $1 million.
It's unfair for second place for sure.
And they're in such an
Third too. I mean, Ben went in knowing that he wasn't going to win, but
Yeah.
he still deserves the time to process.
Well, the reason it's unfair for both of them, but the reason I said second place for sure is that you just saw your name start to come out. It didn't happen. You just lost right now.
Charlie literally was like,
Yeah, I have to deal with this emotion right now. Then you have Jeff. We have pizza. We have beer. They're gonna get talk to these guys right here.
He doesn't
right
want
now.
Pizza.
Bring it out, guys. Change the set. It's gonna be a party.
I would have grabbed that whole bottle of champagne. Okay.
And you have the second place person. I mean, watching like I loved the after show initially until I saw Deshaun Rayden's face in 41. And then that's when the moment I saw his face and him looking down the entire after show, I was like, this is a terrible idea. And then now for 5 more seasons, I've watched as the second place person have to sit there while everyone's laughing and joking, and they have to, in real time, wonder, what did I do to not lose the game, to not win $1 million 10 minutes ago.
And by the same token, it's not fair to Kinsey either. Like, Kenzie deserves, I mean, she is having to mute her emotions because she cannot fully celebrate this because she is also still being considerate of Charlie and Ben, who have just lost
Yeah,
$1 million.
attempting to. Yeah, yeah.
And,
So-
like after the fact, I mean, I don't think anyone has been, really shocked by the results since Russell. You know what I mean? Like everybody has basically known if they won or lost, even if the votes are read at the live reunion months later.
What's the solution here? Because they're not going back to a live reunion because it just costs too much money. They're not going to
they're not going to do it.
Like they're not going to
Good idea.
$2 million. But
Don't
isn't
do
the
it and do
solution
it on
wait
Zoom.
a day and let them sleep on it and then do the show the day
Yeah,
after?
do a brunch.
Like
Yeah.
Or do an Andy,
Today
bring Andy Cohen in like he does with the Housewives. I don't know what the heck this is.
I think you're right. I think a brunch is kind of an idea. I think you do the results. Jeff says, "All right, great show. We're gonna talk to them tomorrow about the show." Then tomorrow, Jeff has fresh questions like, "So after last night, Charlie, have you had a chance to talk to Maria?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Or did you talk to the people? This is what she said. Perfect. We still want to talk to Venus about this other thing. We still want to talk, and then we're all like sitting around the same tribal council set. Maybe in the morning, everybody has different clothes on. They're cleaned up a little bit. They've eaten some food.
Yeah, or
and then they're also
do it at the final tribal council set. Do something. Have another
something
chat.
in Fiji.
Doesn't matter. I
Something
don't
set
care.
up in Fiji. Go. Oh! You go to the sanctuary where good things happen. You go to the sanctuary and you do it there.
So can I just say one thing? Because I'm just putting myself into Charlie's shoes. The next day may have been worse for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the next day is necessarily a
slept
great solution,
But I wonder if the solution is
It's way better than right now. It's way better than immediately after.
I wonder if the solution is a live show, but not the crazy Ed Sullivan Theater in New York City live show, Studio City in LA live show that we've seen with big audiences. How about small set, no audience, just the cast? Like maybe keep it really simple.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hate the Zoom one. Like, I mean, I didn't hate the Zoom one. That was fine.
Yeah.
That was the Zoom check-in. That's cool too. But it's hard to, because even then, man, if you find out that you lost in the live show, you've had months to like compartmentalize what happened. Yeah. Watching Charlie in real time,
it was
not only find out he lost, to also then find out that Maria's the reason I lost, because I thought Maria's vote was a lock. And like, even though we just talked about it, yeah, no, I'm not mad at Tiffany because I never thought Tiffany's vote was locked in for me. I'm not confused as whose vote I lost in terms of Tiffany's. I'm shocked that I lost Maria's, and I don't know how this happened. And I don't have the time to like try to talk to you and figure it out, because here we are live. Jeff has pizza being passed out and bottles of champagne, and he wants to talk to Ben about how he did all the Metallica things. I'm not talking about Metallica right now, Jeff. I want to figure out how the fuck did I just lose this game by one vote?
Particularly after they've been gaming nonstop for 26 days after every tribal council, trying to figure out what happened, what didn't happen.
Yeah, it's literally like, okay, well, you've done that. Skirt. Complete shift.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I think this is like the one thing all season long we've all agreed on.
Congratulations,
Jeff. Yeah, I mean, Tracy here in the chat, same thing. Tracy in the chat, hate the after show. Bring it back after the season is over. I love hearing how they feel after watching the season.
I mean, my gosh, if we ever needed a reunion after the season,
this is it.
Like, I want to see Venus go off on these people. I want to see the Charlie and Maria live. It's like my heart breaks kind of for both of them. I don't know.
Who, for Maria?
Yeah, it does a little bit. I don't know. I guess for whatever reason, I have this sympathy towards Maria. Maybe I see myself in Maria.
So maybe you see Kenzie in your eyes too.
No. But like maybe I see myself in Maria a little bit because she did not play that typical mom role. She wasn't the mom of the tribe. No, she
Sure.
played really hard and really aggressively and really unapologetically. And maybe she's a little bitter, maybe she's a little angry, whatever. But so yeah, I think I sympathize with her a little bit. So
I also would have said Denise. I would have said to Maria, Denise would have voted for Malcolm.
well,
I mean,
she's not the one that said it.
but
She didn't say Denise and Malcolm. Charlie did.
So
she agreed with it.
Well, sure, but
overall take on this season, folks. What do y'all think?
I thought it was a great season as always. That's normally
As always, every season.
yeah. I love Survivor. Survivor's great. It's like pizza. You two are out on it. Kylie, what did you think?
yeah, I thought it was good. Okay. It was my favorite season of the new era. I think Kinsey is a good winner. She played a really, really great social game.
So
Yeah, I don't think she's the best winner of the new era, but she's a good winner.
Yeah, I think she would go down lower on the list of winners, in my opinion.
for me, I think that this is without a doubt the best season overall of the new era. I would probably put it in the top 20 in terms of overall seasons of this show, just because of the overall game. And I wish if Charlie would have won, it would have been a little higher, because I don't believe the right person would.
I don't necessarily think that Kinsey wasn't the right winner.
Yeah.
I would have preferred for Charlie to win, but I would have
Correct,
preferred even
agreed.
more for Maria to have won.
It's not like Kinsey's game was invisible. Like Kinsey played a good game, and her game was a social game. We saw it. They showed it to us.
No, I don't disagree. All I'm saying is, if I was in that jury, I would have voted for Charlie, and I would have fought for Charlie, because I think, from what I value more, I think he was the overall total package of what a Survivor player is.
If I was in the jury, I would have said, man, I lean toward strategy, and that's why I'm voting this way. But damn, Maria's a cold bitch. That's what I would have exactly said.
So I think it's really, really important that for us to bring back our draft and talk. We need to talk about our draft.
Yeah, before we do, this Sheldon, congratulations on picking Kinsey. I think you have the spoilers or something. You knew that she was going to win, even though we never saw it.
No, I saw it.
Yeah, you picked Kinsey from the get-go. Good job, Sheldon. You win the draft.
Thank you so much. Also, who was my second pick?
Yeah, Charlie. Okay, so
yes,
you got
thank you.
And I got third with Ben.
Yeah, you got third. Congratulations. But I got my 1 and 2. Thank you so much.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I think it was a fun season of Survivor. I'm excited for 47. Like, I mean, there is apparently, I don't know him, but there's apparently like a famous podcaster. Like, homeboy wrote speeches for Obama.
Well, Aisha from
Asia from Rob has a podcast. We've got some other girl that plays, live reality games. So I mean, there's already like 3 people that people are excited about. So bring on 47.
Because we know these people with Survivor backgrounds and orgs and LRGs do well, right?
Yeah. I'm not picking her. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm excited for 47. We got a little bit of a break because obviously we got to get in our summer show. So this wraps up our coverage of Survivor. It was a great time, and we'll be back in a few weeks on let's see, we start the season of Big Brother July 17th. They'll drop the cast like 2 or 3 days before, probably like the 14th, and we'll come back and we'll do a draft like we always do. Sheldon, are you excited for Big Brother?
No. Oh, Kylie. Oh, I'm all alone. Why am I all alone? Well, from outside the Survivor house, I'm Sheldon. And for Kylie and Kevin, good night.